Hey everybody, it's Kit Kat. I today is Sunday. If you are seeing this, happy Sunday. If you are not seeing this and you are seeing it on another day, well, happy Sunday. I just wanted to do a vlog. I've missed doing vlogs. The whole doing two jobs plus my own business. It's a lot. Um, but I have more stories to tell. So yesterday, um, I was at Turkey Hill, which is over there. That's the gas station, right? So when I'm over at Turkey Hill, I am a cashier, make sure that the store is running, making sure that everybody gets their fuel. Usually, what people do is they come up to me, give me their money, tell me what pump they are, and then I magically put gas, I magically make sure that the pumps are ready to go for them. No magic required, just, you know, prepaying. That's it. So, yesterday I did that and um, I went out. Well, before my shift, um, like everybody, if you have been watching my videos recently, you know that I'm prompt. I'm always prompt. I always come to work super duper early, sometimes too early, hence me doing a video. Um, Today I'm doing Subway, or I'm working at Subway, and I got here like an hour early. So I'm doing the video before I go and get my coffee. So here I am yesterday. Um, I did second shift. So I go in, actually, no, yesterday I did first shift for Turkey Hill. Um, as most of you know, I walk everywhere. So um, on rare occasions, I usually get a ride. I got a ride today. I got a ride yesterday. One of my friends picked me up or saw that I was walking to work, and she picked me up on the way to work. She's like, uh, so what time do you start work? And I said 9 o'clock. She looks at the clock in her car and she's like, well, we still have time. It was like 8:15 or something like that. And she's like, well, we still have time. I was going to go to Duncan. Do you want to go? And I was like, sure, I'll go. So we make our way to Duncan, which I haven't had Duncan in like forever. We're laughing and stuff like that. We get our Duncans, and this is all yesterday. We get our Duncan, we talk, we laugh. Um we come back to my job, and I don't have to be in for, we found that I didn't have to be in for another like half hour. Mind you, usually, if I work at like 9 or 10, I'm usually about a half hour early. I go in, I dawdle around, I get my coffee, all of that stuff. Well, I already got that, you know. I was sipping on my Dunkin' and everything, so it was cool. Yeah, that was like the highlight of my morning yesterday. So Shannon drops me off. Apparently, because I'm so prompt, my boss and my other coworker, um, were like, "Oh my God, there you are!" She's like, My boss was like, "The one day that you know, you're you're prompt every other day. The one day I think that you are going to be, you know." super duper early, you come in right on time. And I was like, I'm sorry. Like, I come strolling in for coffee and stuff like that. I was like, we, I made a pit stop for coffee. And she starts laughing. I was like, you can't doubt me. Like, if there's one thing that I'm really good at, it's punctuality. It really is. I favor punctuality. I hate it when people are late. I hate it when I'm late for anything because I always feel like I am going to lose out on stuff. So, at least the experience. So, yeah, I go in, I clock in, she leaves, and as soon as my manager leaves, knowing full well that I got everything secured, one of the pumps stops working. Yeah, one of the pumps stops working. And so the thing about my coworker, very sweet guy, not going to say his name because I don't want people dogging on him or, knowing too much. But he is a high functioning autistic man. Very sweet, very punctual, very hyper fixated. If he does something wrong, he, tries to fix it, over fixes it, and then gets mad. So, Pump 3 decided that it didn't want to pump gas anymore. I personally think that Pump 3, because it is a gas station, I think it was operator error. Um, the dude that was at Pump 3 at the time was a big ass jerk, kind of like a pompous jerk, so to speak. And I was like, eh. So, so, so my coworker, once yeah, the the customer comes in and he's like, I think Pump 3, you should shut down Pump 3 because it's leaking. It's leaking fuel all over the place. And of course, at this time we are getting busy because it's around 10:30 on a Saturday morning. And I was like, okay, cool. Um, I'll, we'll get somebody out. I get my coworker to go outside for me just to see how it is. He's like, both of us look at each other and he's like, I don't see anything, I'll go out. So sure enough, I look out the window as he goes outside. I see him walk to Pump 3 and like is totally freaking out. he comes in he comes back in totally freaked out. I mean, to tell you the truth, this guy hates change. This guy freaks out at the littlest inconvenience. Like, he makes, yeah, like I said, he's a very sweet guy, very sweet, but he hates change. He hates chaos, which is totally understandable. He is more of a, how do I put it? He likes consistency, and this job is very consistent. It is very demanding. You know, being at a gas station is very demanding because you have to deal with grumpy ass people the whole time. It's a whole different playing field from Subway, you know. So he comes back in, he's freaking out. He's like hyper fixated on Pump 3. So, um, like he's pushing buttons, he's trying to shut down the whole store instead of he's trying to call everybody while I'm trying to get everybody out of my line that wanted to buy stuff. And so I'm just continuously ringing people out. I was like, well, call this person, call that person. You know, our manager, her phone was acting kind of corrupt. So nobody could get a hold of her. But, we called the store manager. We called you know, I was like, well, call the assistant manager. Maybe she could do it. So he called like two or three people. One person actually came out like 40 minutes later. Our assistant manager was like, okay, you know, we got you. She came out. She's like, I'll show you how to do it because, obviously this is how her weekend is going to go. And so she's like, I'll be there in 40 minutes. I'll be there in 40 minutes. Okay. So in the meantime, the 40 minutes, now mind you, he is autistic, you know. At one point, he is like, well, what do I do? Oh my God, Kathy, what do I do? And I was like, you take a breath. The only way for us to do this is if you take a breath and I take a breath, because the whole time that he's, flocking around, pacing and having an anxiety attack, I'm over here trying not to have one as well. You know, I'm pretty grounded in my wherever I'm at. If I know what's going on, I usually try to be a calming force. With him, I could not. Uh, so yeah, so yeah. Um, Needless to say, and fortunate enough, we we got it settled. Our assistant manager came out. She was very proud of what we did because we shut pump 3 down. We were able to isolate the problem, call the appropriate people. We didn't have to call the police. There was no immediate danger to anybody to do that. So now, if all of the pumps were like that and it got serious, then we would have had to call the fire department and all of that stuff. We didn't have to do that yesterday. So, but yeah, he calmed down after she showed up, after yeah, after our assistant manager showed up. She showed us what to do. It was like a 5 minute thing. She got to go home, gave us a little pep talk, and went home. After, uh, Thankfully, after that little event, um, everything was okay with the pumps wise. Like, yeah, after that, it was fine. He was good. He got to leave like uh, his shift was over at noon, so I was by myself from like noon to like 5 o'clock, which was fine. It was uneventful. Some of you all need to not butt in front of everybody. Like, I mean, there were a couple of grumpy people, but not as I thought it was. So, yeah, that was my event yesterday. Today, I work at Subway. Um, I do the opening. I'm 9:30 to 1 o'clock today, so that's always cool. Um, like I said, I was early today, so um, I was really early. But yeah, today should be um, easy, easy peasy. I get to make sandwiches, and then I think after work, I get to go to a lunch with a friend of mine, the same one that took me to Duncans yesterday. So we get to have lunch together today. Um, Tomorrow, I don't get to. I Tomorrow, which is Monday, I think I'm at Turkey Hill, and I'm doing second shift, which is usually 2 to 11:45 at night. It's going to be a long night, but I get to sleep in. I love it. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to do that video. I just wanted to tell you that story. It was so funny. Looking back at it now, it was a lot more funnier. But yeah, um, so have fun. Bye. Yeah.